Hi everyone, hope you all are fine. We are moving on to the next lesson in microeconomics, and the name of the chapter is Producer Behavior and Supply. Chapter number 5, that is Production Function or Producer Behavior and Supply. You will be learning two important topics in this chapter. One is regarding the production and the other one is supply. Just as you have learned about consumer demand, consumer equilibrium and demand, we will be learning producer behavior and supply. So the production function, the chapter production function speaks about the producer behavior and supply, just as consumer equilibrium and demand. There we learned two important topics. One is how the consumer reaches the equilibrium and what is demand. Likewise, how the producer behaves in the market like consumers. What is the main aim of the consumer? To get maximum satisfaction of his consumption. Likewise, what is the main aim of the producer? To get maximum profit. Now, what do consumer do? Consumer demands the product. But what the producer does, the producer will produce and supply the product. That is why consumer equilibrium and demand, producer behavior and supply. Consumer is related to demand and producer is related to supply. So in this chapter we will be learning two important topics, the behavior of producer and his supply in the market. Now let us begin this particular chapter with the few concepts. The few concepts that we are going to learn in this video are production, production function, short run, long run, fixed, variable factors and concept of product. Now let us move on to the first concept, that is production. Now, what is meant by production? How do we define production? Production refers to transformation of input into output. Transformation of input into output. You have learned about the factors required for production. Which are the factors of production? We have already discussed. That is land, labor, capital and organization. All these are the major factors of production. So transformation of input into output is known as production. Now for example, a biscuit manufacturing company. Now for the manufacturing of biscuit, we need different ingredients such as milk, sugar, wheat flour, then all the related factors such as machines, land, workers, etc. When all these are combined together, all these are the major inputs required, and when these inputs are combined, it will get transformed into a form of biscuit. So what is meant by production? Production refers to the transformation of input into output. So what are the inputs? Raw materials, labor, land, etc. Now therefore production refers to the transformation of input into output. Now the next topic that we are going to learn is production function. What is meant by production function? Like demand function, we have to learn production function. What is this production function? It refers to the functional relationship between input and output. What is this functional relationship? Input has to be converted into output. That is a function. That functional relationship between input and output is known as production function. The inputs such as raw materials, labor, everything has to be transformed into a form of biscuit. So that functional relationship, function is taking place there, right? So that functional relationship between input and the output is known as production function. Now when you speak about production function, we have to write it in the form of function, right? How you wrote about demand is the function of so many factors such as prices of other goods. Like that, we have to write production function in the form of a function or an equation. How do we write that? Production Qx is represented as production function here. So in different textbooks it has been used in different ways. Sometimes it can be used as Px. So that doesn't matter, we can use it as either QX or PX or any way. Now QX is, in your textbook it is used as QX. So QX is production function. Production function is the functional relationship. It is a function of labor, then capital, isn't it? C, T, technology. Now K can be considered as raw material, T can be considered as technology, then L can be considered as labor, then another LA can be considered as land, LA can be considered as land, L can be considered as labor, then K can be considered as capital, then R can be considered as raw materials, T can be considered as technology. So with the combination of all these, we get the output. So QX is the function of LALCRT, that is known as the production function. Just as you have written for demand function, we can write the production function as QX is equal to LALKRT, or you can write it as C, or any, you can use any terms, either K or R, but if you are using it, you have to write it as R represents for what, K represents for what. Okay, so normally we use the first letter of that particular term, capital C, labor LA, land L. So you can use it and you have to specify which is that particular factor. That's all. Now we will move on to the next topic, that is short run and long run. What is this short run and long run? Now short run refers to a period in which the output can be changed only by changing the variable factors. Short run refers to a period in which the output can be changed only by changing the variable factors. Now, a particular firm exists for producing the goods and services. Now, always there will be changes in the output it has to produce. For example, for a particular month, a firm will be producing, for example, 250 number of shirts. Imagine it is a shirt manufacturing company. Now, as the demand for the shirt increases, the company has to produce 260 or 70 shirts instead of that. So output can be changed for a firm. Now what I am trying to explain is short run. Short run refers to a period in which output can be changed. What is the output here? Shirt. So short run refers to a period in which number of shirts can be changed or output can be changed only by changing the variable factors. Number of shirts can be changed here only by changing the variable factors. Now you need to know what is this variable factors. What are variable factors? You know about the factors of production, right? What are the factors of production? Land, labor, capital and organization, isn't it? Now, along with that we can write raw materials, electricity, all these things we can add as sub-factors, isn't it? Now, in this we can find labor. Labor is always, it can be changed. For example, if today there are 10 laborers in a firm, tomorrow if there is a need of more, we can increase the number from 10 to 15. Okay? Now, raw materials, for producing the shirt, if the amount of the cotton, if the number of shirt needed is more for the next day, the amount of the cotton can be increased. Raw material, they are always variable. But just imagine if the number of shirts is increased from 250 to 270, there is no meaning in increasing the area of land. Is it possible? No. So there are some factors which are fixed. It cannot be changed. It is not that easy to increase the area of land, and that is not possible, isn't it? And it is not required also, isn't it? So there are some factors which are variable and which are fixed. So I hope you got an idea about what are fixed factors and what are variable factors. So variable factors are those factors which can be changed when there is a need for increasing the output. So once again, short run refers to a period in which the output or shirt production can be changed only by changing the variable factors. Here, the production of shirt from 250 to 270, 20 numbers of shirts can be increased. Difference between 50 and 70 is 20. Here the production of 20 shirts can be increased only by changing labors, raw materials, etc. We can't change the area of land. That kind of a time period is known as a short run. It is only for a short period of time, existing time period. That is what I am trying to say. Short period of time or short run or existing period. So what is meant by a short run? Short run refers to the time period in which the existing time period, the time period in which output can be changed from 250 shirts to 270 shirts by changing only the variable factors such as labor, then raw materials, etc. So for the existing time period, any increase in the output, if it has to be made, that can be adjusted by changing the variable factors. So that time period is known as short run. Now we will move on to long run. Long run refers to a period in which output can be changed only by changing, output can be changed by changing all the factors. Okay, so long run refers to a time period in which output can be changed by changing all the factors. Now just imagine the demand for the shirt was initially 250. After that it increased to 270. That increase in the 20 numbers could be managed by the firm by increasing the number of labors and raw materials. That was only for a short run, short existing period. But now just imagine the firm has grown, the demand for the shirt has increased from 250 to 1500. Now my question is, if the production of shirt has increased from, if the demand for the shirt has increased and if the firm has to produce 1500 shirts, that means a very good hike from 250 to 1500. Will the existing number of machines or number of labors or number of amount of raw materials, is it sufficient for the company or a firm to produce 1500? Definitely no. So the firm has to find an option for it, isn't it? Firm has to increase the number of quantity of raw materials. Firm has to increase the number of labors, because what is the quantity of the shirt it has to produce? The quantity of the shirt is 1500, not 250. Now, if the number of labors are increased, there is no space in that particular factory for the labors, to equip the labors. So what has to be done? A new building has to be constructed. If a new building has to be constructed, a new area of land has to be found. Okay. Now, not only that, number of machines has to be increased. So we can say that here what is happening? Land, an area of land, producer is searching for an area of land where he has to construct a building, a new building. So what is happening here? The land which is a fixed factor, the land which is a fixed factor, it cannot be changed all the time like raw materials or labor, isn't it? So land can be considered as a fixed factor. Machines, they are also capital assets. Likewise, the building, they also are fixed factors for a certain period of time, isn't it? They cannot be changed every time. And there is no use of buying more machines in order to increase the number of shirts in a small amount. If it has to be increased to a large amount, say for example from 250 to 1500, there is a meaning in buying more and more machines. So machines, land, then building, all these are fixed factors. Now what is happening here? In the long run, all these fixed factors has to be changed in order to meet the production of shirt from 250 to 1500. So long run means what? The long period of, in the long period of time, in the long run, when the company expands in the long run, it has to change all the factors for the production process to increase the output. So that time period is known as long run. So short run refers to the existing time period and the long run refers to the time period where the firm passes through different stages. So initially when the firm has to produce only 250 shirts, and from the 250 when its demand increased, its production had to increase to 270. At the time the 20 shirts could be managed by changing only the variable factors such as raw materials, labor, etc. So to meet the existing time period, that time period is known as short run. Long run means what? In the future, when the business expands, when the production of the shirt has to increase from 250 to 1500, the existing capacity is not with the existing resource. Company or the firm cannot meet that production. Therefore, at the time, the firm has to even change the fixed factors such as land. A new land has to be bought. Building, a fixed factor. A new building has to be constructed. Machines, fixed factor. New machines. All these fixed factors now becomes variable factor. That is why I have written the definition like that. Long run refers to a period in which output can be changed. That means from 250 the shirt number can be increased to 1000 to 500 by changing all the factors, fixed factors as well as variable factors. All these factors have to be changed. Amount of raw materials have to be changed, number of laborers have to be changed, another building has to be constructed, more number of machines has to be bought, new land has to be purchased for constructing the building. All the factors will change in the long run when the business expands. So I hope the meaning of fixed factor, variable factor, long run and the short run is very clear to you. Now we will see what are variable factors. Now when we learn short run and long run, we will already learn variable factors. Now try to define the variable factors. What are variable factors? Variable factors refers to those factors which can be changed in the short run. Very clear. In the short run, we change variable factors and then we will increase the output. Such a kind of factor is known as variable factors. So once again I will read. Variable factors refers to those factors which can be changed in the short run. For example, raw material, if you want you can write labor, etc. And next one is fixed factors. Fixed factors are those factors which can be changed only in the long run. Definitely. Building can be increased only in the long run. New area of land can be purchased only if the production has to be increased. So once again, fixed factors are those factors which can be changed only in the long run. For example, machines, land, building, etc. Now, an important point to be noted, the quantity of fixed factors remains to be unchanged in the short run. Yes, even if there is an increase in the output. For example, if the producer has to increase the number of shirt from 250 to 270, this is an increase. This increase can be met. What is the increase here? This increase can be met only by changing which one? Variable factors. There is no need of change in the fixed factor. For an increase in the shirt from 250 to 270, only 20 numbers are increased. For that increase in the 20 numbers of shirt, a producer need not increase the area of land or machines, or he need not construct another building. He can adjust that increase in the number of shirt with variable factors such as increasing the number of laborers or raw materials. Okay, when do the fixed factors change? When the production of shirt increases from 250 to 1500. So that is the point which I have written here. The quantity of fixed factors remain to be unchanged in the short run. Quantity of machines, quantity of land, quantity of building, all these remains to be unchanged in the short run, even if there is an increase in the output. So that small increase in the output can be easily adjusted with change only in the variable factors. We need not touch on fixed factor. Now we will move on to the next concept, that is types of production function. Now you have learned what is production function. It is the functional relationship between input and output. Now we will learn which are the two types of production function. Now we will be learning the types of production function on the basis of two time periods in production. What is that? Short run and long run. So which are the two types of production function? Short run production function and long run production function. What is a short run production function? You know that, isn't it? Only by changing the variable factors. If we are changing the production, we call it as short run production function. Now long run production function, all the variables, isn't it? Let us see. Short run production function can be defined as follows. The production function by changing the raw materials, labor, etc. by keeping other factors to be constant. Which are the factors which are constant in short run? Land, building, machines, all these are constant in the short run. Which all factors are moving or changing in the short run? Labors, raw materials, etc. So the production which is carried during the short run only by changing the variable factors, by keeping other factors to be constant, they are known as, that kind of a production function is known as short run production function. That means the production function which takes place in the existing time period. So once again I'll explain what is meant by short run production function. The production function that takes place only by changing the raw materials, labor, etc. by keeping other factors to be constant. Because you know, in the short run there is no need of changing the building, land or machines. We need to change only the raw materials and the labor. So the production function which takes place in the short run is known as short run production function. What type of production function is taking place there? The production function which takes place there is the change only in the variable factors by keeping other factors to be constant. Which are the other factors? Fixed factors to be constant. Now we will be learning a theory in this short run production function. That theory is known as law of variable proportion. The theory is named as law of variable proportion. Next is long run production function. Long run production function refers to a situation when output is increased by increasing all the inputs simultaneously. Because you know, in the long run, in order to increase the production of the shirts to a large scale, company has to expand. New building has to be constructed, new land has to be purchased, new machines have to be purchased, raw materials have to be increased, number of laborers has to be increased. So here both fixed factors as well as the variable factors all are increasing simultaneously. So by increasing all the factors of production simultaneously, by increasing all the factors simultaneously during the production function, we call it as a long run production function. So what is a long run production function? Long run production function refers to a situation where output is increased by increasing all the inputs simultaneously. So by increasing raw materials, variable factors, by increasing the area of land, fixed factors, we are trying to experience an increase in the production. That kind of a production function is known as long run production function. Now we have a theory to learn under this long run production function, that is law of returns to scale. Now law of returns to scale is not there in your syllabus. You will be concentrating on the short run production function theory, that is law of variable proportion. Now we will move on to the concept of product. What is meant by product? There are three types of product: total product, average product and marginal product. Now what is this total product? Total product or TP refers to the total quantity of goods. QTY is quantity of goods produced by a firm during a given period of time with given number of inputs. By using the existing inputs like land, labor, capital, all these inputs, how much quantity a firm can produce. That is known as total product, or in a simple sense we say how much quantity the firm is producing. That is known as total product. Now an example is there for you to explain total product. 10 laborers produce 60 kg of rice. So what is the total product? Total product is L into Q. So total product is equal to L into Q. So 10 laborers produces 10 laborers. How many laborers are there? 10 laborers are there. They produce 60 kg of rice. Therefore, the total product 60 kg of rice. So each one is producing 6 kg of rice. Therefore, total product is equal to 60 kg. Total product is equal to 60 kg. So 10 laborers are producing 60 kg. That means total product is equal to 60 kg. So here total productivity of the firm is 60 kg with the given input, with the given number of laborers and other raw materials. Only the laborers are specified here, 10 laborers. With the 10 laborers and other raw materials, a company is able to produce 60 kg of rice. Okay. So that is TP. Now what is average product? Average product refers to output per unit of variable input. What is a variable input here? Here the variable input, the factor which changes labor, isn't it? So we have taken labor as a variable input here. Output per unit of labor, how much each labor can produce, that is known as average product. Per unit, that is what is explained here. So average product refers to output per unit of variable input or per unit of labor. Here variable input is labor. Output per unit of labor means what? Per unit labor, how much output is produced. For example, total product already you know it is 60 kg of rice. Produced by how many laborers? 10 laborers. Therefore, how can you find the productivity of each labor? That is known as average product. 60 by 10 is equal to 6. So productivity of each labor is 6. If 10 laborers can produce 60 kg of rice, per unit output per unit of labor means productivity of each labor is 6 kg of rice. So how will you find that? We can find it by using the formula TP by L. What is TP? 60. What is L? Number of laborers, 10. So TP is 60 and labor is 10. 60 kg of rice is TP, 10 laborers are producing it. So 60 by 10 will give you 6. So AP is equal to TP by L. Average of 6 kg of rice can be made by the laborers. Now from this equation we can find out TP. How will you find out TP? If AP is equal to TP by L, we can write TP is equal to AP into L because it becomes multiplication when it is taken to the other side, isn't it? So TP is equal to AP into L. So how many equations we have learned here? AP is equal to TP by L, TP is equal to AP into L. So two equations we have learned here. Now we will move on to the third concept of the product, that is marginal product. So whenever you hear about marginal, what should come to your mind? Addition. Okay. Now let us see what is the definition of marginal product. Marginal product refers to addition to the total product. Just as how we explained marginal utility, you can remember that. Okay. Addition to the total utility. Likewise, marginal product refers to addition to the total product when one more unit of variable factor is employed. How much quantity will increase if one more labor is added? That concept is known as marginal product. Addition to the total product when one more unit of labor is added. I will connect it to the total utility and marginal utility. What is marginal utility? Addition to the total utility when one more unit of orange is consumed. So here instead of orange, we have used labor, because orange is for consumption, labor is for production. So how will you define marginal product? Addition to the total product when one more labor is added. What will happen to the total product when one more labor is added? That concept is known as marginal product. What will happen to the total product when one more labor is added? That is known as marginal product. So an example for marginal product is given here. Formula for marginal product is also given here. This is the equation number 3. Let us see what is an example. If 10 laborers make 60 kg of rice and 11 laborers, one labor has increased. I told you we are going to see if one more labor is added, what will happen to the output. And 11 laborers can make 67 kg of rice, then marginal productivity of the 11th labor will be MPN is equal to TPN minus TPN minus 1. Can you remember the same equation which we have used in the second chapter to find out marginal utility? We have used the same equation. MUN is equal to TUN minus TUN minus 1. You can connect the same equation here also. The only thing is there we are using utility, but here you are using production, product. So marginal product. So MP of N is equal to TP of N minus TP of N minus 1. So here MP of which unit you are going to find out? MP of 11th unit is equal to TP11 minus TP11 minus 1, N minus 1. So TP of 11, total productivity of 11th unit is 67. Total productivity of 11 minus 1, that means by using 10 labors, how much is produced? 60. So how will you write? TPL is 67, TPL minus 1 is 60. Isn't it? So 67 minus 60 is equal to 7. So marginal productivity is 7. 7 additional is being added to the total productivity. From 60 to 67 is a change when one more labor is added. Now one more formula is there to find out marginal productivity. The same equation that we have used for total utility and marginal utility. What is marginal utility? Delta TU by delta Q. Likewise, marginal productivity is equal to delta TP by delta L. Here L is labor. Okay, there the Q is number of oranges consumed. Here we are learning the theory of production, so we have to use delta L, that is change in the labor. So MP is equal to delta TP by delta L. What is delta TP? A change in the total production. So what is a change in the total production which has happened here? New production is 67. What is the old production? 60. So 67 minus 60 will give you 7. Divided by delta L, change in the labor. What is the new labor? 11. What was the old labor number? 10. So 11 minus 10 is equal to 1. So delta TP by delta L is equal to 7 by 1 is equal to 7. So 7 addition has happened, is known as marginal productivity. So same answer you have got with the two equations. You can either use TP, MPN is equal to TPN minus TPN minus 1, or MP is equal to delta TP by delta L. So I hope all these concepts are clear to you, such as production, production function, two types of production function, the two time periods, short run and long run, two factors, variable and fixed factors, and the concept of product such as total product, marginal product and average product. Thank you.